If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Your Tuesday.
What is up? What is up? What is up? You are super blurry, my friend.
I'm super blurry. There we go.
There we go.
It's because always wants to pick up the mic instead of me.
Blur. So for those who are wondering, Val's just running late, so don't worry. Val will be joining us for the Vmac club. So you know, Val's coming. Don't worry, Pong. She is coming. Your homegirl's coming. See Pong in the corner over there. How you guys doing?
I'm okay.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. All right.
I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm ready to be in Europe. This time next week, I will be deciding if I can call, if I have the energy to call in and talk whatever it is we're trying to talk, because I don't even know.
You should just stay up, man. Just drink a couple of beers. You'll be all right.
There you go. You should also record your trip. You could play highlights of Lost Trip.
Or if you know what we're going to talk about, you can just give us clips of what you want to say.
Just pre-record.
Pre-recorded clips.
All right.
And then we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I actually do that too. That's great.
Yeah, maybe we got some. Wait. Hey,
Pong was coming at us.
Yeah, he was.
Any minute now. Yep.
And without further ado, coming in with the championship to defend it, Vmac.
Coming in hot, fam.
The championship to defend it, really?
Hi,
guys. Sorry, I'm a little late.
What's up?
My apologies, running around doing a bunch of stuff. But yeah. How you doing, guys?
Good.
Surviving the win.
I'm ticking down days to the strip.
Oh, my headset's being weird. Okay. Say that again.
Oh, no.
It is windy as all hell.
They've got wind on their side. I'm just ticking away these boxes until I leave.
Trash cans are flying. The wind is rolling down the block.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't go outside, so I don't know what the hell is going on.
You a fucking hermit? Or you just don't go out?
I mean, on the weekends.
So you go outside for tacos, tequila, and Hennessy?
Sounds about right. No, I go outside to get my nails done, get my hair did. There's things I go groceries and Walmart.
See our boy Lu Cyph on March 18th.
Literally this Saturday, 9 p.m.
Wait, that's this Saturday.
This Saturday at the Delancey.
Yep.
Been saying it, the 18th.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That is this Saturday.
Oh man, the whole nerds. We gotta do a photo op together.
Not only will he be there, but George Medina himself will be there.
Is George watching? Did he say hi yet?
We haven't seen him yet, but he's saying it for posterity at this point.
I have to switch my headset. This one's giving me a bunch of static.
Okay.
Give me one.
Well, why that's giving you static? What else gives us static is announcements.
We already were in announcements when I did a great transition to the 18th, and
that's right. There you go.
And then you do this nonsense.
It's always there.
It just hurts so much because we gotta sit through it all the time, and it's what makes it worse is that you've done good ones, so now we're just in pain from listening to the bad ones because we're like, you've done the good ones, bring those back. You're like, nah. You guys get that once every fucking 6 months at this point.
Yeah, it's a treat when it's a good one. But yeah, we will be at the Delancey on March 18th this Saturday, watching Lu Cyph in concert, which you can also check out his album, The Motive. The link is in the description. Make sure you guys are checking that out. The Medusa's Cascade podcast, every other Saturday. Make sure you guys are checking that out too. There's a whole great recap series now. So this way
we have to change that slightly because Tommy has now been doing every week is an episode, but not every week is the actual play. So usually it'll be as the weeks go, he'll announce what's coming out. But it's right now been one episode of either Across the Plains or a recap or the actual play.
Also,
and it'll just alternate.
Okay.
Make sure Make sure you guys are catching Catch the Craze because George will be with us on Saturday. Catch the Craze. And make sure you guys are checking out.
It would be nice if you did join.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if I gotta go, I guess
Wow.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. That's mean. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going. I said I'd go. I got to keep my word.
Boy. Oh boy.
I just imagine a lot of people.
That's fair.
You're gonna be with the nerds.
I literally had to cancel like 2 things this weekend because I just didn't have the social battery to be around that many people. I was exhausted.
Do you know how much of an introvert I am?
Oh.
Well, I'm an omnivert. You know what? I take that back. I'm an omnivert. Never
mind. I'm definitely omnivert.
Yeah, it takes it's a process, and since I don't go out as often, but
none of us do.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
Also, make sure you guys are checking out Pong over at the twitch.tv /Sin Shop. He's on there every Mondays and Fridays. So make sure you guys are checking him out. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for announcements. That's all little stuff here and there. All our links you guys can go in the description. It's already there. So we've been plugging it like forever.
I've been playing The Last of Us. As far as episodes are going, I just got to the point where I met up with his brother again. So looking at like episode, what's that, 6, more or less. So I'm almost done.
Yeah.
But I should be done with the game either in. I don't know if I can get it done in Thursday.
Is this your first run doing it, or you did it before?
First run. So
okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do like the whole thing in a Thursday session if I don't have any tech difficulties, or I'll have to wait until I get back on the 31st for that. Is it the 31st? No, the 30th will be the next stream after tomorrow's or Thursdays.
So before I bring out our guest, I want to give a long time friend to the show, Keiko, big shout out because she kind of did this for my birthday.
Oh,
I was so stoked.
That's dope.
Nice. Good stuff.
So those wondering, that is fan art, the Koncrete Kombat right there. I'm like, oh wow, it looks so fucking fantastic. I big shout outs. Make sure you guys are checking out Keiko over there at MLA Entertainment on YouTube. She also put a comic out there too, on her series on Webtoons now too. She's been doing the artist and everything behind her comic.
Very nice.
Yay, Koncrete Kombat.
That's nice. I love it.
Yeah, she did dope. But we're at that point now. We got our guest just chilling in the background. He's returning. I've had him on the show before. He's been to this wild West madhouse over here. His links are in the description because he is now, again, when he came on the show before, he was promoting the book on Kickstarter. It's now being promoted on Indiegogo. So if you guys missed Star Noir in the beginning, when he was last on the show, he is promoting it again. So we want to give it up for the one, the only, Tony James.
Hey, what's
up? Welcome back, sir.
Thanks for having me back.
Of course.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for coming.
Cool. Happy belated birthday, Sebastian.
There you go. I'll take it. I'm old farts now. So Tony,
now you just now? You think you've always been?
Listen, when you get over 40, it's been the show now. So come on.
I'm almost there.
Right behind me. There you go. We're right there. We're all there. We're all 20. That's it. 21. All 21. Tony, so you
right, old man River. Come on.
All right, listen, just give me the chanclas and the manta. I'm good, okay? The chanclas, the manta, the cargo shorts with the socks and the, I'm good. And the
gosh, just don't say any Spanish words. It's okay.
So Tony, you are back out there promoting the Kickstarter. So give you a big shout out on your plug real quick. So please plug away Star Noir right now. Go right ahead because you are back on it now, plugging on Indiegogo. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we had the Kickstarter back in October. It was successful. We raised over $10K for that book. But because people had been messaging me saying that they missed the Kickstarter, and it was quite a number of people, I decided to launch an Indiegogo for anybody who missed the Kickstarter. So it is up and running now. I think one of the benefits of of the Indiegogo, since we've been working on it, is that now when you go to the Indiegogo, you can actually read the first 9 pages of the book. So it's a lot easier for me to pitch what the vision is rather than the Kickstarter where it was just 4 pages and I had to kind of sew up the whole vision together. So now you can go check it out and like read a good chunk of the book to get a vibe for what's going on with it.
That's beautiful, bro. Again, we want to congratulate you again on the Kickstarter successful campaign, as well as again now on Indiegogo. And when I last checked Indiegogo numbers, you got over 41% of this goal almost complete and 18 days left. So for you guys who missed the Kickstarter, go right there. The link is in the description for the Indiegogo on the YouTube channel. So make sure you guys go and check it out. Give Tony your support. This is your chance to get the book that you guys missed the last time. Plus, if you want to learn more about Star Noir, the link is under that for last time Tony was on the show, where he goes into the description about Star Noir, and you guys get to see a little bit of the art. So again, you guys good.
When did Tony come on last time? What were we talking about last time? Do we know?
I think we were talking.
Dragon?
Yeah.
Was it House of Dragon?
Okay.
So now are you up to date with The Last of Us?
Oh, Tony's.
Not
okay.
only been but I've played both of those games thoroughly multiple times.
Okay.
We got a good one
excited.
Tony was texting me. It's like, when are you guys covering Last of Us? I want to come on and we're gonna talk Last of Us.
I ask that question every week.
I know Tone's mad at us. He's like, what the hell? Why are we pushing it out?
Yep.
Listen, we had so much content. Like there was no way to do all of it. Between Mando, between Vox, between like, it's just been a long couple weeks.
Oh man, and then what was it? We had Ant-Man, but no, we're getting into Last of Us. Before we get sidetracked with everything that's out there, because there's just so much content. Thank you, Marvel and Disney, for now pushing your stuff out. Give us a break in between.
No, don't. That's not a thank you.
No, it is, because now we get to cover even more stuff.
We're never. That's the next thing.
Well,
say that again.
No, Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
Yeah, Secret Invasion is like the next big thing. Kang Dynasty and Secret Invasion. So those are the next 2 big Avenger movies that they're building up to. But now they're pushing everything back. The slate's being pushed back because
Secret Invasion is a show.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I confused it with Secret Wars. I confused it with Secret Wars. Everything's a fucking secret.
Secret Invasion is the TV
show that's coming out next. To answer your question,
with the Skrulls,
the next 2 big movies are Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the big Avengers. Yeah, I confused it. My fuck.
We're getting Miss Marvel next. Isn't that the next one that we're getting?
No, the next movie is Guardians, and then
Guardians, and then the Marvels. Okay.
Yeah.
But getting into
I forgot about Guardians.
Yeah, everybody's forgetting about Guardians. But when it comes out, like, this guy's gonna be, what was it? Adam Warlock. And we don't think that someone's not walking off into the sunset, and a lot of people are looking at Drax.
Yeah, it's Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Is it Dave Bautista and someone else is the big question.
I mean, it makes the most narrative sense for Dave Bautista because he's like, I'm done. And then they let Rocket go off in the sunset with his friend.
And he can always come back if he wants.
Yeah. But I think Dave Bautista's like done. Dave Bautista's done. He's done doing movies where he's got to show off his chest. He just wants to just enjoy movies and be an actor. So
listen, I ain't mad at it.
Exactly.
So what's the last episode we spoke about? Just the first 3, right?
Yeah. The last
one
was the
6 episodes to talk about right now.
Episode.
Before we get into talking about the episodes, Tony, you said you played both of the games. We're just gonna be TJ. Tone TJ. There we go.
Okay. Did he okay that? Like, you just don't just press someone's nickname.
Listen, when you buy someone beer at the bar,
okay,
or you can just say Tony and Tone.
Tony
and Tony.
I mean,
Tony Tone. Done it again. Tomo. No, you played the game. Listen, that's not a beautiful start.
I'm sorry, Tony. Just forgive him. He tries.
Listen, I'll just buy Tony more beers at the bar.
It did get pushed.
Yes.
It definitely did get pushed. They were pushing it back. But
that was not the only. Hey, what's going on? You go.
There you go.
But that was not the only thing off the slate to get pushed.
Yeah.
See? Hugo gets it.
Yeah.
Guys, don't entertain it.
No, yes,
Like a
entertain
fucking
it,
Italian
entertain
restaurant
it.
over here, man.
There we go.
Oh.
So Tony, you played both games. You're big again, Last of Us fan and everything. I wanted to get your thoughts on the comparison from the video game. Was this in terms of how this was adapted? Was it a good adaptation of a video game? Was it a bad adaptation? Was it mediocre? So give us your go right ahead. Get into it.
I in terms of adapting that particular game, I think there are good things about it and a lot of bad things about it. I think that the show tries to hit the same beats, but does not earn them in the way that the video game does. And as somebody who's played the video game, a lot of those emotional moments, I just sort of felt like I was kind of going through the motions of like, oh, this is where Tess kicks it. Oh, this is where this person dies. Oh, this is where these characters. And I didn't really feel like I was invested in it as a TV show. But there are certain episodes and we can talk about them. That I think where they push away from the video game, and I think those are their strongest episodes.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that opinion. I think that makes sense, especially because you already have an idea. You're already anticipating what's coming next. I think my experience is a lot different because I chickened out on the game after the first episode section. It was like, oh, I'm not playing this. It's scary. I'm not doing it. And I just stopped playing. So it was a new experience for me watching this story unfold.
Yeah, I'm the middle where I am now playing the game for the first time after having watched the show. Well, I started playing probably after episode 3, I want to say, or around episode 3. So I'm like in that like where I'm starting to catch the beats of both the game and the show, and enjoying both, but understanding like where the deviations were. And I'm like, oh, okay, that didn't hit as hard that it did over there in this medium or whatever. But we can get into it.
And then just, what's interesting, because I get that take, Tony. It's one of those like, because I played the game in 2013, lived through it, enjoyed it, and I felt that same way. Where like most of those beats, I knew they were coming, and I think I didn't take it as like I didn't think that it took away from the show. I think it was them making sure they hit those beats in the game, whether for us as fans of the game to be like, okay, cool, they did it, but then you've got folks who didn't see it. So like my wife didn't play the game, and she's watching it, and all the emotional beats were all new to her.
Yeah.
And so she's watching and she's like, I'm crying all the time I watch the show. The show's really good. I'm recommending it for everybody. It should win all the Emmys. And so I think it's a really interesting conversation to have of we consume the media and we watch an adaptation and we kind of know what's going to happen. But I felt that way for House of the Dragon. I knew what was going to happen. Right. But, and I thoroughly enjoyed it though for what it was. And I do think that this Last of Us has set the bar for any video game adaptation, any dramatized video game adaptation. And it shows that we can do it as long as like the creatives are involved and you got the right directors and you got the right writers and you put the love and the effort into it, where you can get something that's a happy medium for both game players and first time viewers, because we're not going to get something perfect.
Yeah.
And that's, critiques, some of us wanted more action sequences with some infected, and we didn't get a lot of that. After you get out of Kansas, you don't really see them anymore, aside from the flashbacks.
I think that works for the show because it kind of separates it from a lot of the other shows that have come out that had to deal with the zombie apocalypse, because you get a lot of zombies in Walking Dead, you get a lot of zombies in Train to Busan. It's like a lot of zombie apocalypse shows, you get a lot of that. I was glad that this in a way dialed back. Now, I never played the games. I YouTubed a lot of the clips from the games because I was always interested in like seeing like, stuff about the game. So I saw that how some scenes were actually transitioned and everything. I have to say, like, my cousin, who was a big fan of the game, said it was the best adaptation that he's seen it. Which, like, again, so what you're saying, Tone, it sets the bar, because like it could have went the route of Resident Evil, which was such a bad video game adaptation of a series. It just it sets a bar because it's telling a story. The creator said that he changed certain things for the live action show that would make sense more for a live audience, but still stood true to the what was going on. And even like now, like my wife, she never played the game, and having her sit down watching the show and everything, she's been enjoying the show because it's, for me, it's really come down to a human drama. It's like, what do these people do? It's like and the zombies are just this callous that are there, that you and I think that made them more scary because they're out there, and when you see them and finally get them in scenes, it makes it scarier in a way. But then you have this huge lull of quietness, and then like
I will tell you right now, playing through the game and going through Kansas City, where like there was a huge chunk of the game where I didn't see one infected, and I was just like, it gave you too much comfort in like them like forgetting that it's a zombie apocalypse game, because they're out there, but you're like, oh yeah, like I'm out here exploring, or getting materials or killing these guys, and then all of a sudden horde of zombies, and you're like, oh shit, I completely forgot that you guys fucking existed for like 2 seconds. Like that was a whole nother threat that just came out of nowhere.
I'm curious to know, Tony, what you felt missed at certain beats. Like what would have been something that could have been done differently that was done in the game that didn't show the same in the show?
Well, I think the big thing, and it's really just down to like how they decided to structure this TV series. I thought, I was kind of surprised that they were going to burn through all the source material in one season. And I think a lot of the reason why in the video game you feel a lot of the emotional weight is because you get to spend more time with the characters before they die. So you really get to kind of see who they are. Like you spend so much time with Sam and Henry that like by the time their time comes, it's an absolute gut punch. And I just felt like with Tess, you meet her in the first episode, and in the second episode, that was Tess. Where in the game, it's like, yeah, but we get to talk to her a little bit more and learn about her relationship with Joel a bit and kind of see where they're at together. But it just felt like the show it had a schedule. We only have 9 episodes. We got to like get through this. So we don't really get to spend a lot of time with characters. And I think that took away from some of the emotional punches.
I think what you're saying too, I agree with that in some ways, because again, a lot of these characters were new for me, but I think for some people, like how you're saying, who know the characters, they're saying that the next arc they're gonna try to split up into 2 seasons to try to get more of that, and I think that it really played out well for this first season, for it to like, okay, for us to tell like the actual story for going forward, we're gonna need to split up the next part into 2 seasons. So we're getting like a season 2 and 3 now when it comes down to it.
I just think
Is the second game longer than the first one?
Yeah, a lot longer. Yeah.
So then that makes more sense now, even more so.
Yeah.
Without spoilers, can I get some hints for the second game? Like, what's the hook? I'm just wondering.
Nope.
You're gonna get a lot more.
Wondering.
It's not worth
You
it.
got a lot more what?
You're gonna get a lot more Bella Ramsey. She'll take more focus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's Bella Ramsey?
Ellie.
She's Ellie. Yeah.
Ellie.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
so let's so episode it's 4 and 5 take place in Kansas. How do we feel about that mockery? Like that whole
Well, the sister, what was the sister's name that was hunting everybody down? She was freaking psycho.
Yeah.
She was psycho.
Karen.
What was that? Tony?
Karen.
Yeah, Karen.
Karen?
Her name was Karen.
Kathleen.
Kathleen.
Psycho woman.
Yeah.
Psycho woman. I don't see. I understand it's the end of the world, but you shouldn't go as far as this girl was really hunting down kids,
Yeah.
killing everybody just because her brother died. Are you really? It's never that serious. You don't know how to deal with grief.
So let me ask you all.
I think 20 years after the world ended, there isn't a place. I shouldn't say there isn't a place for that, but I think some people just reach that point. Not to say that hers was acceptable. I just think certain people just are too far gone and have been through too much. That like that's their last straw. You know what I mean?
I don't think it was like, yeah, it was something about. Let me ask you this. This was a question that me and Jess were talking about, and I want to see, and I want you guys to weigh in. First person could just jump in. When her lieutenant showed her that hole in the ground, do you think if she was focused more on that they could have prevented what happened at the end of episode 5 with all of the creatures coming out or set up new safe measures because
Prevented?
you-
Don't think they would have been able to prevent it. They probably would have been more prepared. Maybe try to have a little less casualties, find ways to get out of there, because it was only a matter of time.
I mean, I think they could have prevented it if you make, depending on how useful that building was, collapse the building on
Right.
top of the structure. Like there are things they could have done, but she just couldn't get over the fact of looking for
Henry.
looking for Henry, and it clouded her judgment. I mean, I also don't think we've talked about it. It's talked about before too. Revolution and overthrowing is easy, but you gotta maintain what you're gonna do. Like they talked about all this shit about Fedra and how all the stuff they did was bad, and they end up doing the same thing.
Right.
Yep. I don't see the thing when I say I don't think prevention, because where the building where he showed her that thing pulsating in the ground, right? That was a completely different place from where that explosion happened and all of those came out of the ground. It wasn't the same place. So even if they dropped that structure, they would have just came out somewhere else.
Yeah, but it would have given them. I feel like they, or at least she, in her place of leadership, didn't do the due diligence of like being sure. She was very like, it's fine. Look, we haven't had them in so many years. Blah blah. This and third, and like him going, yo, like this is a thing, and her just going, oh my brother, like that's on her. You know what I mean? Ultimately,
Yeah.
Tony, weigh in.
So wait, I remember that episode. I don't remember that she looked at the hole first, and then that was the same spot where the bloater came out at the end.
No,
different
No,
spot.
no.
different spot.
it was a different place entirely.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. If
It
we
was just-
drop that structure, it doesn't prevent from that happening. If in fact it would have just opened up something that it would have came out of there instead
Right.
of where it ended up coming out. I think better prepared. If she had told them what was going on, they probably would have been more prepared. But preventing it was just a matter of time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like she wasted their resources because she was so consumed in finding
Yeah.
Henry that if they were
Wasting
paying
bullets on
attention,
people.
yeah, and if they were paying attention to the threat that was about to happen, like, yeah, I like to your point, Val, I think that would have happened, like it would have opened up somewhere else. But at least this way, if they weren't so focused on Henry, they could have been better prepared to deal with the situation where, hey, no, we're just going to waste all of our resources on Henry. Let's go find Henry. We're going to take our whole army, go look for this one kid who was responsible for snitching out my brother because, I want to go pop a cap in his ass.
I also think it was a very interesting take because when I probably just played that episode through, maybe if not last week, the week before, and I don't feel like the series gave you that essence of the game didn't give you that same essence of like a face to like the villain, I guess. You know what I mean? It was like, yo, these are raiders, everybody's out to fucking get you. Good fucking luck. Bye. Have fun resource management.
I got a question for you all, and I want whoever wants to jump in on this one. Who would you be more afraid of, Carol or Negan?
Negan.
Who's Carol?
Who's
Kathleen.
Kathleen.
Oh,
Negan.
Negan. Absolutely Negan. Absolutely Negan.
I don't watch enough Walking Dead to care.
He's off the charts crazy.
So
Yeah.
like Kathleen is a woman like crazy eyed on a mission, whatever the case is, but like she still somewhat had, it wasn't much left, but there was some shred left of humanity in her, let's say. Versus Negan was gone. Gone.
What did he do?
Oh,
Negan took pleasure in what he did versus Kathleen, like there was no hesitation, but I feel like she was like still in shock.
But I
think if she actually had time to grip of what she was doing, she would have been able to be like, oh shit, I fucked up.
No, I think, yeah, like however said Negan. I see, even though Negan was a madman, Negan, just to give you clarity, to clear Val, think of Negan as a version of Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead, but just like if he went like just pure evil. I feel like between
And
Negan
then
and
almost
Kathleen,
make him as sadistic as Homelander to give you
Yeah.
more context of like he enjoys making people suffer in that same vein.
but he had systems, and that's what's even scarier about him. Where Kathleen did not. She overthrew Fedra, but she didn't have systems because she was just too focused on where Negan.
Also,
Fuck that guy.
Kathleen had her right hand man. Negan didn't, from if memory serves, Negan was like a one man show with lackeys.
It is
They were all
wives.
lackeys, and
Right.
then wives.
Like Kathleen had her like right hand man.
No,
who
he had
was-
his right hand man. It was his right hand lady, Lucille.
Yep.
That's fair. That is fair.
Feel the vampire bat.
I will give you that, sir.
Lucille was the right hand lady.
But
I would say this, Val, you just have to see the scene when Negan gets introduced and
right.
how he just, and then that would be like, that's the list, right? Jeffrey D.
I,
Morgan.
I
shout out.
have no interest in watching anything Walking Dead. It's just not there for me.
it's fine. That's all you need to know is he's very much the same. No,
He's the
hesi-
villain. He's the
he has
villain you
no,
want to
he-
love.
no hesitation to killing and to torture
Yeah.
like a Homelander.
He,
That's
he,
really
he
it.
puts a whole new meaning to any, meeny, miny, mo. Catch.
But yes, to all that, I think she still had her right hand, and I think her right hand, while she may not have been, she still has some level of morals being depleted from her system. She still has him, so it still counts more towards being a moral compass than Negan will ever have.
He wasn't a moral compass for her. He was just so this is, and I want everybody.
I
to jump
think he
in.
was trying.
Why are we talking about Negan? Let's get back to Last of Us.
No, I'm talking about The Last of Us. Her right hand man was more of like, it was more like,
Oh.
I give you an order, and that's what he did. That's all he did. He see, a right hand man would try to
Mhm.
steer you into the right direction. Like, listen, we should.
He
really check
did.
this.
She wasn't listening.
Yeah,
Right.
And
I think that's what the case was, because when she was in the bedroom, or
She's like-
that whole back and forth was him trying to get through to her and her being like, "Nah, fuck that."
Yeah.
credit to the actor that played that character too, because he was the original voice of Tommy in
Yep.
the game.
They had a lot of people who played from the game itself in the show. So to run everybody down, you had Troy Baker, who played Homeboy in episode 8. Yeah.
David's boy. Yeah.
Yes. You had Ashley Johnson, who played Ellie's mom. You had Laura Bailey, who plays, I
She's
forget.
one of the nurses. at
So the
end.
guy,
She's one of the nurses,
the
but
guy
she-
who got the cleaver in his neck is Joel.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Troy Baker, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Laura Bailey, who plays who did she play in the second game?
She plays Abby, who is
Yes.
the daughter of the doctor that Joel kills in the last episode.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you can figure out where the story goes from there.
Yeah. So there's that. Who was the other one? I feel like I missed someone.
I need to see that. I'm gonna go look it up.
What's her face? She was. I did. We
Was
touched on
Marlene
this.
her own
Marlene-
self?
Yeah.
Marlene.
Yes,
was
that's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
Marlene was
That's the actual voice actor. She replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That must have been cool.
She's- And then the girl who plays Ellie was Ellie's mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Ashley Johnson,
Yep.
also on Fox.
Yes. Yes.
She plays Pike.
Oh,
That's
I
what
love
we
her.
were trying to tell you before, but you had no frame of reference for her.
I don't really know any of these actors' names. I'm bad with that. I don't follow the actors in any way. It's the characters for me. So the behind the scenes stuff, like when you guys are talking about directors, actors, voicers, and all of that, I'm like, I have no idea what any of these people's names.
So
Give me the imaginary character they play, and I got you.
Exactly. That's what's more important to me.
So let's get to. I believe the next episode was the reunion with Tommy.
I cried in that episode.
Well, before we get to
We
that,
didn't even talk about the one with
So,
Henry and Sam
bang,
when
bang.
they finally meet up.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
because we have because we kind of combine. You can kind of combine episode 4 and 5.
Yeah, you
yeah,
combine
we
the two
have-
Kansas episodes.
We can combine those, but the ending of episode 5, I feel like because of how they changed, what is his name? The kid, not
Sam?
Henry, Sam.
Sam.
The way they changed Sam's character in the show,
Oh,
What did they do?
He's deaf.
yeah, he's deaf in the show. He's not deaf in the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
I
think
didn't know that. Okay.
hit harder in the show than it did in the game, because I played the game and I was like, oh fuck, here we go. But then I was like, oh shit, like this doesn't.
Well,
Not that it doesn't still hurt, but it doesn't hurt as much because you're like, he's like completely just not talking, and that's normal for him.
as somebody who has a younger brother with the same age gap, both the video game and the TV show, like they really hit home for me, like comparable. I like the change that they made for the TV show. I think it gave it its own identity. But I think those beats, they were one of the few times in the show where I feel like both the game and the show kind of hit the same kind of beat together.
Yeah. I think that I was surprised at Henry deciding to shoot himself, right? I wasn't expecting that. I was blown. I was like, whoa. But like you see, he portrayed well the thought process in like a few seconds, like the freaking out, the oh my god, the hold on, you're not gonna do nothing, and then he decided. It was just in matter of a second, you make those types of decisions, and it's I was flabbergasted at the end of that episode. I couldn't even speak. It was like, wow.
You see it both in game. I think you see it a little bit more in the game personally. The relationship that the brothers have, like Henry and Sam, like you see how much Henry is willing to do and go through for Sam versus the show. Like the show shows it a lot. Like, you know, he's like trying to keep him safe, whatever the case is. But there's a scene in the game where they literally have to separate where what is it? Henry's with Ellie, Sam is with Joel. And that I'm sure that for both separate parties are the most stressful parts, because Ellie is Joel's charge, and he's like, I have no idea. I barely can trust this guy, but I have to trust him now to protect her. Where he is now trusting me with his little brother, the only thing that he has to like you know care for and look for, you know, in this world.
So for me, when
that was tough,
when you had the whole scene, the death scene of Henry and his brother, it was the reaction of Ellie, because you're seeing this is actually, if we're counting, maybe the third person that Ellie has witnessed died, because obviously we count her best friend, who we find out later on in the series what happened. Then you have Tess, but now it's like she was really trying hard to help Henry's brother, when she was like trying to rub her blood on his wound and everything, hoping that
hurt. I think that's what messed me up the most.
But yeah, you see the hurt she feels, and especially when she comes out and she writes on the little thing, sorry, and puts it down. It's those moments that is like you and the actor really caught that for the character. You see that those moments, those are those moments where it's like, you know, she's experienced a lot of loss in this world. Like you get those beautiful childhood moments when she sees like the plane where she's being exposed to all these brand new things, but then it's like the reality then sets in. It's like how quick you can die in this world. And then you got to think about this too, like how for her it feels unfair. Like I got bit, nothing's happening to me, but everyone I love around me is dying if they get bit or anything like that. So it's like you have to really think also, where her mental state's there.
Barely see kids in the show or the game. So for her to have a kid who's close enough in age that she can connect with and bond with so quickly, and you're like, bet this is going to be the new crew. And you're like, no. And then like for her, it's like, I just made and lost a best friend like that. Like you see them as they're talking about the comics, as they're playing soccer together. You can hear both in game and in the show, like that sense of like familiarity, like start to rise, and where like they're like, bet we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this, and they're starting to make plans as if they are now a part of the group.
Yeah.
And it just changes so fast.
Also, too, Joel's a bad motherfucker. But go ahead, Tony.
No, I was just saying, just a like a small, like kind of a fan thing. I wish they had it. I wish that Sam had the Transformer toy that they has in the video game. I thought that was like a nice little nice thing that this character had, and then after he dies, Ellie puts it on his grave, and I thought that was like a thing that was kind of a missed opportunity. That they,
I think that's mostly why they did the flip where it was his writing thing.
Yeah. But it was like in the game, it's like Henry doesn't want him to have that toy just on the
right.
picture. Like, don't take things wherever we go. And then Ellie's like, no, we're cool. Here's the thing. I took it for you.
Yeah, that, and then because they skip ahead in the game like a couple months as they do it, I think in the show, where she goes, "Fuck, I should have left the toy for him," or whatever the case is.
Yeah,
and it oh man, like her depiction of like grief and like going through that process of like, I don't want to talk about it, but she's also watching Joel, who also doesn't want to talk about a lot of his shit. So she's only mirroring most of what he does. And then also having a hard time trying to like vocalize, because the only other person she can vocalize with is someone who doesn't want to talk about it himself.
Up until the end. Where all he did was talk.
Until the end.
Yeah, I remember when I played the Henry and Sam bit in the video game for the first time, like I thought about it for like 3-4 days. Like I couldn't get over it. I was like, I got a brother who's about this age. Like, I mean, would it have been different for me? I don't know. And then you start going down that rabbit hole. And the show it hit the same emotional beat. And I think making the kid deaf was a great choice for the TV show.
Yeah. Because the whole point of Henry doing all of this was for his brother. I think he was sick with cancer, he said.
Yeah.
And going through this whole process and why they're even in this situation and being hunted, and this crazy bitch not being able to get over it, it's just like, what do you expect people to do at this time? I
love what the old man said to Henry in the beginning. He's scared because you're scared. And he had to kind of step up and be the tough older brother. And they started with that superhero stuff.
I feel like also too, for me, because I never played the game, and you see it later, like in the last episode, like how Joel got his scar when they were talking about that. He had, again, we know Joel lost his daughter. And it's like the second day he was like, he tells this whole story how he tried to commit suicide. I guess for me, it was just that was also probably a part for Joel to see how this guy, how Henry was thinking after he shot his brother. After he just lost his brother and had to do that. And it's like, I didn't catch it then, and it didn't, but now thinking about it after seeing that, and when Joel told
I wasn't even thinking about that at all.
It's like he saw the wheel spinning there and he knew what was going to happen, and that's why he was trying to talk Henry down from it. But Henry was already gone. But that
Tone, you've been quiet, sir.
No, I just been listening. That's all. Just been listening.
Was there anything from these two
Kansas City
episodes that like stood out that you would have wanted to see from the game into the show, or felt like was a missed opportunity?
I personally don't think. I don't think it was a missed opportunity. Now, granted, I haven't played the game since 2013, so I don't have the muscle memory of like the exact bits aside from like the heavy moments. I know like you meet your bloater the first time you see Bill. Like I know those.
Parts. Being the bloater for the first time, fuck right? That dude,
right?
In particular.
But the whole thing for
how does a bloater happen again?
20 years
in the school.
He's just been there, and like you just what is it, like you're infected, but like you just keep like
you keep evolving, and like they in game.
Why doesn't it die out like other ones?
I'm gonna. Well, this is what happens.
Oh, okay.
In game, it's kind of like, because it's the cordyceps is a fungus. It's a host. So the most strongest bodies are the ones that live to become a bloater. Because if not, you end up like in the wall. Like like the Davy Jones dudes.
Yeah,
like kind of like you either like if you're like a fucking linebacker, like Ray Lewis would have been a bloater.
Dwayne Johnson,
Dwayne Johnson would have been a bloater. Like the body is able to live and take it to that point.
Oh,
you know, I think I died 3 times that thing before I realized like I had to redo my strategy, and I was like, pipe bombs and Molotovs are gonna be my best friend. I don't know why I'm spending bullets on you. Pipe bombs and Molotovs, baby, let's go.
Also letting Bill do most of the work because his bullets are unlimited.
Wait, Bill is still alive to fight the bloater?
But yeah, the show and the show Bill and the video game Bill are completely different. I mean, the characters are basically the same.
Yeah.
But, how you meet them is
Yeah.
different.
So we meet our first bloater in Kansas City, where they met their first bloater when they met up with Bill.
Yeah, they're like crossing through a school. They get into a gymnasium, and then there's a bloater, and they fight the bloater in the gymnasium.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
That was the worst case of fucking resource management because I was just
Those bad boys.
Yeah, I go watch it on my Twitch channel because that shit was fucking nuts.
It's like the big daddies from BioShock, man. They just use all your resources.
Yo, for real, that is exactly what it's like. It's a big daddy fight for sure.
The tank from Left 4 Dead just running up at you and just throwing you around.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I thought it was good. I mean, look, the main point for me for Kansas City was to make sure that the Henry and Sam storyline worked out really well. I enjoyed that we got the bloater, and the bloater was worth it. That scene when the infected come out and then Perry gets his head ripped off, like what happens to you in the game, because that's how you die. That's a full on pull from the game. So it was really fascinating how they did
also,
it.
The stress from Joel's perspective of having to snipe from that tower, and you as the player having to do that same thing. Stress.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they pulled it off so well. Because
did you go left or right?
What?
Did you go left or right? Because I was reading on Reddit that everyone was happy that Joel went left because everyone said going left is where you avoid getting shot from the sniper.
No, I go right. The sniper takes his round as I dive into the first house, and then I sneak.
Oh yeah, I go left first. Yeah, I don't go right.
No, I go right. I go right all the time.
Really? Yeah. I always went left.
He's like, I'm going right.
Yeah,
I'm going right into their scope.
Well, because there's a deck you can go right under, and then you can pass a bunch of the hunters, and then you sneak into the house. It's a lot easier to sneak into the house.
See, that's the thing. I avoided all the. I even realized that there was hunters or anything there until I started like doing the sniper thing, and I was like, where the fuck did all these guys come from? Like, I just dealt with dudes, like regular dudes who beat the shit out of me every time. Like, I was trying to reload, but yeah. Listen,
I was trying to reload.
They didn't have the sniper talking trash this time, like in the video game.
Oh my god, I hate him so much.
Trying to get past the sniper, and the sniper was like, "I still see you. I still see you. You're not going to."
He's so annoying.
Yeah,
I was so happy to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
That's
those
funny.
moments. Those are those fun video game moments. Like, yeah, bitch, you're mine. I'm talking your shit. So now, Kansas City, let's get into the reunion episode.
Yes,
episode 6. Tell me, when he said his brother's name, emotionally, I was done. I was like, oh my god, I know, and finally he's alive.
He has a whole life without you.
And I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, exactly. I fell in love with Pedro Pascal there.
Oh my god.
She's from True Blood.
Yeah, I love her to death.
She's
also in
Queen Sugar.
Queen Sugar with Ethan, so that's why I know her too. I was like, yes, love her to death. But that episode was chef's kiss.
It was a good one. That was a good one.
Also, shout out to the couple from the beginning of the episode.
Oh, the Native American couple.
Oh,
yeah. Grandma needs to be protected at all costs.
Exactly. Did you tell them the truth? Yes.
Yes.
Are you lying
to me?
Yes. He's like, you fed them too? She's like, they were hungry.
I love how she doesn't care. Like, protect that woman at all costs, bro.
That's funny.
She's gonna outlive all of us.
Pretty much.
I like how that scene they set up how Joel gets information with the map, then they play it again in a much more violent way when the David episode.
He's like, I believe him.
Oh man,
I believe him. Bye.
Okay, I believe him.
That's so funny.
But it was cool. I mean, I don't know if any of you played the second game, but way they show Jackson, it's like it is a 1-for-1 recreation of the second video game. When you're in Jackson in the second video game, it looks exactly like that. Like
Which Jackson?
The town.
The
Oh,
town.
oh, oh.
Yeah,
Tommy's town?
yeah,
Mhm.
Tommy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when they're walking around, it's like ripped right out of the video game. It's not an interpretation. It is a copy.
Is it a communist? Pretty much.
No, but that was pretty funny that they low key are communists.
Yeah, without saying it.
Well, socialist, not communist.
Well, that's what Joel said. He said like a communist.
Of course, that's what Joel said. This is happening in 2013. He's from fucking Texas. Come on now.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's true too. Yeah.
Oh man.
We don't be trading goods and services. I want to pay for them, and if it's mine, it's mine. And if you want it, you gotta buy it. And she's like, "That's not how this works here."
She's like, everybody gets it.
It's a commune, but like we all work for our shit together.
Well, I mean,
Also,
you saw how it, but you saw how it worked for them versus the town that you get to see later, how it worked for them.
David.
Oh, we'll get into that. We got
Leave
that.
your
Put a whole fucking pin in that goddamn episode.
Let's talk about episode 6.
Gotta get your venison on.
But also too, it's the same thing. Like when you saw
Fuck the
how it
venison.
was different in Boston, because like how they were doing things in Boston.
Which one's Boston? Oh, where they're
Boston's
from, right?
where they started.
Yeah.
But that was still Fedra.
That's Fedra.
that was
Yeah.
Fedra. And
So you
then
start to
Kansas-
slowly, get away from Fedra, get away from. Everyone does something different.
Yeah.
But originally, when you meet Tommy, and then you meet Maria, did anyone get the suspicion that Maria was gonna just? Because I hadn't caught up to that part of the game yet, so I'm just like, Maria's gonna fucking beat the shit out of Joel. I don't know why, but she just doesn't seem like she trusts Joel as far as she could throw
She
him.
doesn't. But she also doesn't know Joel. She only knows by what Tommy tells her.
Right.
And Tommy probably didn't tell her everything. And if he did, he doesn't know that Tommy, his brother now. They haven't been around each other. So
But that bar conversation they had, that shit broke my heart. I was like, God,
that's the Emmy submission.
that has to be.
That's what they're gonna submit for Pedro's Emmy. They're gonna show that scene when he's talking to Tommy.
Yeah.
And Ellie's submission's gonna be when
everything of Pedro.
When she
Give me
yells
everything,
at,
Pedro.
when she yells at him in the everyone left me except you. Like that's gonna be her Emmy submission.
Yeah, I can see that. I need
them all. I need them all. First of all, I this series has definitely solidified my Pedro fandom. I just love him. This episode specifically, and the last episode.
Give him a child and you're good to
go. But also you see his in episode 6, I think you see more of like where he's still trying to be who he is, keep himself mentally safe, and he sees his brother like, so you ran away from me, bro? Like really? Like that's what we doing? And not even a word that you okay? And it was more like you see how his ways isolated him, and I think that's one of the things I picked up from this episode, and him realizing that there's other things out there other than what he's been doing.
I would highly recommend watching the cutscenes from the video game between Joel and Tommy, because I think they pack such a much bigger emotional punch, and you get more depth out of their brother relationship, where where they're both trying to reconcile with the bad things they've both done. And the reason that he's trying to pass Ellie off to him is more out of desperation. It's not like I just got to get this done. It's just like, I need this, Tommy. Like, you don't understand. Like I have to be out of this. And I think that their conversation they had in the show is great. I think if you compare it to the video game just is much more emotional.
Really?
I'll let you know when I play it on Thursday, because I'm literally about. I actually just opened the doors to there.
Yeah,
I mean, with the fact that Joel is fighting, he's fighting this. I can't have this emotional connection to a person again.
Yeah,
like he's just fighting it. And he's like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I lost Tess. I lost my daughter. I lost my brother, even though I didn't know I lost my brother. I can't have this again because it's happening and I see it.
Yep. Yep.
You see it when him having the panic attacks, him seeing his So
Did you at
that's-
least see the moment that Tommy and Joel meet in the video game when you were playing?
Yeah. So I saw it where
Where they hug?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I really like that moment. I like the way it's set up where Ellie and Joel get to this place and they got the guns trained on them, and you're just like, I don't know you, and it's like, and then you hear Tommy's voice. I know him. He's my goddamn brother.
Yeah. Like the best part was like what was it? She said yeah, that would have been an awkward way to like meet your brother-in-law is by putting a bullet through his head or some shit like that. I was like, yeah, that would have been fucking awkward as hell.
Yeah.
It was really well done. Like, oh man,
was it this episode in the show that they did the dogs came out to snip them for if they were infected?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a cool moment. That was a lot of fun.
That I was expecting in the
out.
game, and then it didn't happen in the game, and I was like, oh, okay, guess not.
Yeah,
He was freaking out. He definitely thought that she was going to get identified because of the bite.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she was just happy to play with the dog, so it was getting cute. But yeah, I mean, the episode was more about like Joel going through what he was going through, like like Tone hit it perfectly with the experience loss, and he's starting to get this attachment to Ellie, and him seeing Tommy, and I think that started solidifying those attachments because, I mean, he lost Tess along the way. No one mentions it, but like Bill and Frank were kind of like his friends, but then there's also to his daughter, which again he sees that one person in the crowd who it's like those memories come back, and then he's having those panic attacks when it comes down to it. Not much else I feel was in this episode, but because that's what I feel where most of the focus on it was more of a family driven, and then Joel just not really wanting to go through that loss. And aside from the abuela in the beginning, her and her husband. And then the stolen rabbit.
I think also too, like seeing Joel's, like that beginning part where he's like, "I'll take watch," or whatever the case is, and you can see that he's having really messed up dreams, but he doesn't remember them when he's waking, but he just knows he's not sleeping. He knows that he's like going through something, and you see Ellie with the gun, and she's like, "I've been just watching you. Like, don't worry about it." And that's one of the first realizations for him, I think, that he's like, I can't let her protect me because then what am I good for? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where like, this is my one thing that I know I'm good at or I'm supposed to be good at. And I think if he feels like he can't do it, then he's letting his daughter down again.
Well, also too, this is the second time in the show where she told him you talk in your sleep.
Mm-hmm. She told him that in his apartment in like the first episode.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really give any relevance throughout the series other than those just mentioning it.
Yeah. It
with how it ended up anyway.
So I think you needed that first part of like you talking in your sleep for when they get to later and like they are like more comfortable with each other, and he's again still talking in his sleep. He's still mentioning certain people, whatever the case. He's definitely mentioning his daughter, and then Ellie has a sense of more context, so she can start asking like, "Hey, who is this?" Or like when she sees Sarah's name on the placard, and then Maria's just like, "Yeah, that was Joel's daughter," and she goes, "Oh shit!" Like I didn't even know. You know what I mean? So like, I think those little things are just how they wove the story, so it can like, lead it to from one thing to another.
Before we like push forward, can I just talk for just a couple of minutes about the Bill and Frank episode? Because that for me, that is the best episode of the entire season. Like just hands down, just the writing, the acting, everything. What I loved about that is that it was able to capture the personality that Bill has in the video game. Just exactly like that felt like Bill, everything that he would say. But it was one of the times where it pushed away from the video game, and it wasn't trying to recreate something that already exists. It was actually giving more background and more story to Bill, who we don't really know too much about. We know about Frank, but Frank's already dead. But in the show, like we get to see this full relationship that Bill gets to have with Frank. And then it also just felt like, man, this show's strength could be in just telling little stories about people in this world, because that's the big strength of The Last of Us as just a franchise, is that it's just so much about the human relationships. And what I like so much about it is that you don't even have to know anything about The Last of Us to really engage with that episode. And I thought it was just a great adaptation of that character that you could then go back and play the game, and then all of that information, all that depth you learned from the show, you can place that back on top of the bill that you meet in the video.
Right.
Which is exactly what I did.
Yeah.
It was definitely, man. I felt weird because like you're with Bill, like doing a lot more with Bill, and I was just like, oh man. And then you get to Frank, and you're just like, oh damn. So like you're trying to do like the compare, and you just can't. And I think again, like to your point, the show does it so well that I think had they narratively done it in the like game itself, it would have still been a beautifully done like piece.
Yeah, I mean, all you get with Frank in the game is that you see a hanging skeleton, and you're like, do you know this man? And he's like, yeah, it's Frank. He's the only one that would wear that stupid shirt.
Yep.
Yeah. And you got to really get a sense of their relationship just from that small moment. But I'm glad that the show was able to expand upon it.
I loved it. I thought that was a strong episode. That one and the very last one, because I just saw it. But it's up there for me throughout the whole thing. Also, the flashback episode in the mall.
Yeah,
was
which
a
I
good
think
one.
That is next. That is next episode. We have the flashback episode.
Joel gets shanked.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yes.
So he goes. They leave. They leave Jackson, go to what, Colorado, right? And no one's there. Their whole trip for nothing. I'm monkeys. Like, what the fuck is going on? Just to come across some raiders who then stabs Joel, and I thought he was dead. I thought it was done. I'm like, this cannot be how he ends. All of that for this, I was so upset.
Yeah.
So upset. And then when he drops in the snow, how's she picking him up? How's she getting him out of there? I don't understand. What are you doing? Like, what? There's no way out of this. I don't know how she got him into that house. That's some bullshit, but it's TV.
TV logic.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the video game, it's actually way more intense. I mean, it's not it's a lot less believable because he's basically walking around with this big thing, and Ellie's trying to shoot her way out.
Yeah,
the TV show had made it more practical. It would make a little bit more sense. But yeah,
in the show, like in the game, he just has like a rebar in him or something like that. For like
one of the hunters like pushes him off a balcony, and he lands on a piece of rebarb, and then like Ellie like lifts him up out of it, and then he's just bleeding out the entire time as she's like shooting her way out to get him to safety.
Which, just for little fun facts, do not take the thing out of them that's keeping the blood in them. Just don't do it. Like
you have to jam on square to remove Joel from the barb. Like it's literally a quick time button press for that.
Well, I'll be sure to be getting my thumbs ready for that one. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, but those raiders come back later in like episode about them.
Very next episode
later.
In 8.
Yeah, episode 8. But right now, episode 7 was the flashback episode, which we then learned what happened in the mall. Which again, this was again a human story. It's a very tragic story at the end, and this is the first loss that Ellie has to deal with, which she describes later on, like how it was for her.
Storm Reed, shout out to her. She has been doing her fucking thing. Holy shit.
The one thing that I learned in this episode with Riley is that Riley loves her short queens. When they would stand next to when she would stand next to Ellie, I was like, wow, Ellie is really short next to you. All right, little short queen, I got you.
Very true.
Hilarious. That's hilarious, but true.
I love that episode though. It was very nice. It gave her an opportunity to have a little normalcy outside of Fedra training. I was surprised at how like free they thought everything was. Like they're not in a damn zombie apocalypse. I don't understand why they thought they were so safe. it was kind of frustrating
that
for
was
me.
it, wasn't it? Like the sense of normalcy in a zombie apocalypse is like, oh, I don't have to kill anything today, and I wasn't being attacked today. Like
Plus
that's,
also
Honestly,
too-
just
that's
having
normal.
some routine and the fact that you have some kind of shelter or something that's the normalcy.
Right.
Plus they established that Riley was already living there. She was already stationed there by the Fireflies, so she didn't know that this creature was in there. Which
She
was
didn't
was-
explore.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
She's an idiot.
You got all this time to set this whole date up and to
She was busy playing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, getting real good.
That's what she was busy doing, planning her date with Ellie and the four wonders of the mall.
Because we were saying what's a good day. If I said that, the user AK. Oh my god.
yeah.
That's
That
great.
was the annoying thing about it. I mean, Lillian, I get that they had to show. I didn't play Left Behind. I didn't play the DLC, so I don't know if it's the same. I know that there's a lot more zombies they're going after. I think, right, Tony? Like, there's a lot more.
No, in the Left Behind, it's mostly Ellie running around the mall during the daytime, and then certain parts of the mall is reminding her of the time that she hung out with Riley.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they don't really show the whole thing then.
I mean, the main beats with them playing the video games and dancing on the countertops, and then they both get bit, and they just want to see what happens. Like the main beats that happened in this episode are one for one recreated from the game. But the Left Behind DLC is Ellie looking for medicine for Joel, and then she's just reminded about her time with Riley while she's in this mall.
Understood. Okay. Get it.
Okay.
I mean, it was smart of her to go. I mean, her stitching Joel up, that was something I wasn't expecting. I mean, I'm looking at her go crazy. I'm like, what are you gonna find, bro? It's been 20 years. That space been abandoned. There's nothing. Nothing's gonna work. I'm like, Joel is done for. I really thought Joel was gonna die. It was over.
Listen,
He
I
was
would've-
gonna die.
I would have
Yeah.
went full medieval and
kept hitting
just
square.
like
I thought it was over.
hot red poker and just sorry, Joel.
She kept hitting square. She was able to get it.
Listen, penicillin, man.
Right.
Hannah
Pe-
fucking so
Penicillin.
That will go to the next episode.
that you just jab anywhere apparently. 'cause-
Apparently,
Yeah.
I was like, I guess that's how it works. We just dab a little bit of penicillin in there. It's like
it'll
Robitussin.
go where it needs to go.
It's like
Listen,
Robitussin.
Joe
Get some of
became
that
my
tussin.
guy.
That's a nigga sister.
Get some of that tussin to be all right.
The one change that they made from the Left Behind DLC, I understand why they made it. It works better for live action, but when they're playing the video games and Riley is like surprising her with the arcade, none of the game machines work. So Riley is kind of triggering Ellie's imagination and just talking her through, okay, this is your combo. And you see in the video game, like the lights are changing as Ellie is kind of going into her own imagination. I think it's just like in the game, it's
That's
very
good.
sweet. But I understand why because that would be pretty boring in a live action.
I gotta say though, the most unrealistic thing is that Riley said she figured out the fatalities without a friend who had EGM to give her the codes. I was like, that's bullshit. You didn't figure that shit out.
There's no way. There's no way.
Listen,
if you were-
fatalities
Yes.
were currency. Okay, like if you knew someone who knew how to do the fatalities in Mortal Kombat 2, that was your best friend.
Yep.
Well, she was also playing as Baraka, so you just keep doing this over.
You know, I'm here talking about a fucking zombie apocalypse. I'm like, this is the most unrealistic thing right here. Just go ahead and figure that shit out.
sorry, Pog. It's not that gas is still around. It's that it's a
That
Mortal
she
Kombat.
figured out how to do a fatality in Mortal Kombat 2 in the arcade. Nah, I'm good, man.
Oh
Leave
my
my-
God.
Did
leave-
in the DLC in the video game, do they show the end for Riley and what actually happens, or do they just mention it later?
No, they decide that they just kind of want to wait it out, like as Ellie says at the end of the show. But you never see Riley turn. Like they cut away before that happens, and you just kind of presume like, oh, okay, because she says at the end that Riley turns. So
Yeah,
it's up to your imagination.
got it. Okay.
Or if you had a friend who acts to BBS with the moves and fatalities, she
Right. Or the Game Genie. You guys remember Game Genie? Bruh, I know I'm showing my age right now, but
I stand by the casting.
So we now move to Ellie deciding to go hunting
Which then we meet that
because she's living on rations and starving.
Bro,
She finds venison when they're looking for venison.
bro. That episode, like,
First of all, David is a fucking weirdo.
So hold on. I didn't get like spoiled, but I just heard like someone was like trigger warning about basically like cultish like kind of like mentality and like the whole nine. Like they gave it like in like cannibalism, the whole nine. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And I'm watching it and I'm just like, oh, it just gets worse. like beautifully acted by everyone around, but it just got worse.
Yeah, I was not expecting.
Tolerate Hannibal Lecter. I can't tolerate the pedophile.
Right. Right. The cannibalism is expected from starving people, right? Yep. You do what you gotta do. People die, whatever. But killing people, that's a different story.
As soon as your man said, "Yo, yeah, we can't."
When do we get to bury my dad? He said, it's too cold. It's too cold in the spring. I was like, "Oh, they're eating them." That was a dead giveaway.
I was like,
they just ate them.
I was like, "That's weird."
The ground's too hard. What kind of excuse is that?
So I'm like, "That's weird." Then we get to fast forward. They find a deer. They get real excited, bring back deer, and they come back and they're like,
"They got meat already."
They got meat already. I'm like,
she's like, "They got meat already," and then they bring more meat and goes, "Wait, what's this? Venison? Really? Really?"
No, well, they got that look of like,
nah, they know.
He's like, "That's my husband."
Oh my god, I was just I'm
eating my husband literally.
Nasty.
And then what made it worse was that David had the biggest plate of that shit. Oh, yeah. Everybody had
scraps. Yo,
scraps, and your man's eating like, bro, what?
Yeah.
Nah, bro.
Nasty ass.
Got the fatty piece.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to be a pedophile rapist, but I expected the cannibalist thing when he said, "Oh, in the spring," and his friend looks at him. I was like, "Oh, nah, yeah, they're eating people." And then the whole cult thing was just freaking weird. It was just.
I think so. I think so, Pong. There's a whole thing about eating human meat that it gives you the shakes. You see it in the Book of Eli when they go to the elderly couple.
Yeah, but you also see there's certain discoloration.
They have the shakes.
And he looked sick, so you obviously know that they're not good.
Also, you've got the other guys in Judge Dredd who were cannibals, and they all fucked up.
So you got Troy Baker finally making his appearance as James. You got a very, very intense episode where Ellie is now on the hunt for supplies for Joel and just for food in general.
Mm-hmm.
Runs into David and James. Got that's her kill. 100% her kill. But
right in the eyes.
She knows that one, she can't carry it back, and two, don't trust those fuckers. Like, like you go get stuff and then I'll be here. And then the conversation.
The conversation when he said,
"Whoa.
Well, I sent my guys and 2 came back." I was like, "Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my god. What are the chances?" I was so stressed
that whole time. I was like, "No, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way.
They're gonna die." I'm like, "It's over. Where's this going? I thought everybody died. I thought everybody was gonna die. That's it."
Although when she runs away from David, I just was like, why didn't she just cover her track? Like grab a branch and then go in a different direction to cover your track. So it's like
she's not there yet.
Serpentine.
She's not there yet. Like she's at the she can hunt and she can survive, but then being able to control that fight or flight response and knowing what to do, she just hasn't done that enough.
Nor has Joel showed her that entirely, because he's leading it and he just wants her to follow.
Yeah. Fair. Very fair. Mm-hmm. Very, very fair.
Yeah. It's like, I think he feels like she's a kid and shouldn't have to go through all of this. So he's very protective of her with that. However, to a certain detriment, because he needs to prepare her for the worst. And I think that's one thing you start seeing as he starts to open up. After she saved his life, he's a different person entirely with her. Completely.
Well, not only that. So let's go through
Oh yeah. Okay.
Let's
That
go
was
to-
that was a strong episode.
Woo,
That shit ended. I was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Before we even get into Ellie
Okay.
on her I'm a boss bitch shit, because holy shit, the measures that Joel went through, because she was like,
Yo.
Joel, if someone comes through here,
You
fucking
killed him.
kill him.
I
And
love it.
I was like, yes, I
Yes.
fucking love you. Do it. And then you just see Joel, like Joel is on the brink of death, fighting a fever, and just like I've been bleeding out for days. And you see him just going, nope, bye. Next guy.
Penicillin.
Yo, penicillin, let's do it, baby.
2 shots, 2 doses.
Video game logic, baby. And then my favorite part about all of it was the interrogation. Because your man said, you better say the same shit your boy says. And then he goes, but wait.
No. The way, the knee, he just went in there and you see him just like with the knee. He's like, I'm going to pop your kneecap out. I was like, dude, that.
No, I was talking about
You
where it was
see
him.
Joel
It was him and
in a
dude.
holding like,
But it was him and dude, and the dude was like, "Yo, but he was like, but he gave you the same information, and then you didn't even ask, or some shit like that." And he was like, "I don't care. I trust him enough.
It's
I believe him.
okay. I believe it.
It's okay. I believe him." I was like, "That's fucking cold blooded."
And he got Negan. He got Negan.
And that's
Oh my god.
that's exactly what happens in the cutscene in the video game. And that's
really?
It's like the exact same scene that they
This is where I see Joel. Like for me, it turned into like, this man don't play. He on his shit.
That's what he was doing for 10
I know.
That's what gives you the glimpse of what he did before everything, before he met
Yes,
Ellie.
I know.
And it also gives you the glimpse of what he's willing to do because of Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
As we will find out in the final episode.
Mm.
Whoa, shit.
Yes.
want to talk about David's demise for
Yes,
a second.
Tony, go for it, please. Yes, please.
Let's definitely go.
I don't want to talk about it.
Now both instances are crazy. But what I did like about the moment, the cutscene in the video game when she's chopping up David, is that Joel stops her while she's in the middle of it. And so she's so caught up and her adrenaline's still going, and then she wants to attack Joel, and she's like, stop, it's just me. And then you see her switch it off and start to cry, and it's a really emotional moment as Joel hugs her. In the show, it just like chopped him up, then walk outside, and then you see Joel, and it's like, well, it's a little diluted because you kind of separate the moments a little bit. When in the game, it was much more emotional because Joel's literally trying to stop her from doing even more damage to David, who's already dead anyway.
I think they explained it in the after scene, because I don't always watch the after whatever. And
what did they say?
You essentially have this moment where you're expecting Joel to be the hero, and you're like, when is Joel gonna come? When is Joel gonna come? And then you realize, oh shit, Joel's not gonna be there in time. What happens now? And then you get this point where Ellie is now having to do what she did. Joel is still not there for the after. So now she's in shock and just in that state of like, don't touch me, I'm in survival mode, until she has to like put it together like, oh shit, you're Joel. I just did a thing. And he's like, don't worry about it. Once he said, don't worry about it, baby girl, I was like, bruh, like, come on. So
I was emotional there.
I get what you mean, because I saw the cutscene from that. I've watched the entire cutscene and like the entire game play through. Yeah. I just never played it myself. So like I've seen that cutscene and I get it where like that's intense because you're gonna swing and you're like, oh shit, sorry, like you know, and you're going. There's so much adrenaline, but that cold moment of just being just raw and like just don't touch me, like I just fucking like I lost it, and then going outside, Joel is thinking that he's gonna have to do some shit. Realizes that you just did unspeakable because someone else was going to do unspeakable. And like, this is what you had to do to survive because I was on the brink of death and I couldn't be there for you. I kind of love that so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get choked up with the video game version. I just, because it's just seeing Ellie's eyes switch from anger to sadness as she realized what she did. And then Joel comforting her in that moment. And then it sort of like cuts away and you just see the top of the blade. and it just cuts to when they're on the bridge. I thought that just felt like I'm getting a little worked up just thinking about the video game version, which I highly recommend you watch if you haven't seen it.
I will be playing that very soon because I know I'm getting dangerously close to that fucking that part of the game.
They added the whole like child bride thing. That was not in the game.
Oh, okay. I just thought he was creepy as fuck.
He was creepy. He was really.
I was like, this in House of Dragon. HBO loves their child brides.
I think it was more about him seeing some form of connection with her because she's willing to do anything.
Also, too, if you really look at it too, he was giving that vibes to the mother and daughter that were sitting at the table whose father was killed by Joel.
I'm your daddy.
He's like, I'm your dad. Yeah. So he was kind of giving that vibes already at that scene, like, oh, this guy loves his power. Yeah. He's gonna take what he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just was just Creeper McCreeperton, and it's just you can't trust someone who's ever. I don't want to say that, but you can't trust someone who's into their own power, into their own like that they don't think their shit stinks. Where it's like you saw it progressively, him getting creepier and creepier and creepier.
I think it's funny the video game David is voiced by Nathan Drake from the Uncharted series. Like that.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, he for me though, David, it would have to be David versus the governor, who's creepier. And I think David won that one.
Yeah. I would also like to say that the hello. No worries. I would also like to say that when Ellie took the butcher knife to Troy Baker, to James, holy shit, what a good I was like, that fuck yes.
I liked what I really like, even now that you guys explaining the cuts, the video game version. I personally really like that Ellie got herself out of it. That showed more of her being a badass. Like she able to stall, she burnt that shit down, she killed these motherfuckers, and she really turned on her survivor instinct and did it on her own. So I kind of like the way it played out, the way it did in the show. I don't think I would have liked it as much if Joel stopped her. You have to have that. There's a certain level of restraint when you realize, holy shit, and then you're like freaking out in your own mind, like this. I just did this crazy thing, and I don't know. I feel like I believed her, that reeling process when you come outside, and she just, this little girl, Mormont, whatever her name was in Game of Thrones. This girl is. She just gives me the chills. I love her as an actress. I loved her in Game of Thrones, so much younger as well. The little role that she played, she was badass. And in this, she's even more badass. And so I really think this episode solidified that for her.
Also, too, is like, if you really think about it to this point, that really showed her the ugliness of the world when she had to deal with them, because she had not dealt with someone like that until this point, because that kind of feeling, you see it kind of carry over into the next episode. Again, Ellie was raised in the Boston territory, in the Boston she started seeing tragedy when she lost Riley. She didn't know what people were really dealing with during those first few years through the outbreak, and how people really were, because again, she had the protection of the Fedra Academy. She's always had the protection of people. This was the first time, like, okay, she got separated by Joel, and it's like, it's that, and if she didn't have that fight or flight moment, if she didn't fight back, it would have really broke her. But it's like, you could see, and it goes on again into the next episode, how it's just like, again, this world was just affecting her in a way. It's like,
Yeah,
I think both moments in the show and the game, I think they're both effective. For me, just comparing the cutscene, I felt like the cutscene just hit a little bit harder.
I get that. I mean, your relationship with the game is different, and it also holds a different standing, so it's stronger to you.
Yeah. And I think we could separate it, because like, I feel like with the video game, because it did come out first, I feel like with video games, there are just certain things you have to try to work to capture to get that emotional response. Because I didn't get to play the game, and this had a big emotional response for me. And I think for a lot of people who see this scene who never played the game, because it still has that emotional response there. Will the game probably have more of that? Yeah, I agree. It probably may, because they have to push more of the boundaries, because you're bringing people in, because video games are more of an immersive experience when you're getting that. And that's why I believe, like, when a lot of people are saying that this is probably one of the better video game adaptations that is out there, because you're still capturing, from what people are saying, those emotions that you got to feel it. Albeit it's different possibly for some of the scenes. But like the director said, he changed it, who was still the creator of the game. He changed some things just like he felt would be better more for live action versus in how it was portrayed in the game.
Yeah.
Which, like the whole Bill and Frank moments.
Yeah, I think probably why the Ellie moment hits a little bit more for me in the video game is because you do actually get to kill all those guys first before you get to David, and then you're in this burning building with David as he's looking for you, and then finally he gets the drop on you, and that's when you cleave him to death.
So she's already killed quite a few other than.
She's killed a bunch. Yeah, she's killed a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah,
because you're playing.
You're the person paying it.
Yeah,
that's the first time in the game that you think you play as Ellie.
Yeah.
Awesome.
When after he gets Joel gets impaled, the game switches over and you play as Ellie and you're hunting, and then you meet David, and then you and David kill a bloater in the middle of the woods together.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's
weirdo.
Entertainment's in Spain this whole time, but like, what's interesting about the game and the show is that humanity and life becomes reduced in the screen, which is why everything on the screen to us seems so rushed.
Yeah. Because again, the video games give you the immersive experience, because it's like for the video games, it could be expanded 5, 6, 7 hours of that you're playing, because you're very involved when you're playing a video game. And then with how the show, again, like we said in the beginning, versus any other adaptation, I think hands I've never played the game. I've seen like some of the cutscenes. I think that the show did very well. It did better than. Like, I was very depressed with the Resident Evil adaptation. A lot of people told that I was very.
We're not
depressed
talking about Resident Evil.
I know, we're not. But that's my depression. Let's go on to the next episode. But like, I was trying to segue to the final episode of the series. Is again, you see that situation still weighed down on her, and even Joel eventually starts to pick that up as he's talking to her and all that.
I think a lot of it wasn't more about that situation. It's a combination of it, but also what happens next. Does she have to give up Joel? Like, they have to follow this through. And that's one of the things that this is the first time you see Joel completely more communicative, completely more talkative.
Yeah.
He was like a completely different person from where he started in the first episode. And he's like finding ways to get her to talk to her. And I think a lot changed when she saved his life and the relationship. And he's like, let's look forward to something together. Like, let's do this. I got your back. Like, I got you. I know what you've been through, and I'm going to be always there. And that's where he starts to open up in that father role for him, where he's welcoming that in. And she's more like, this is weird because I don't know what's going to happen. I think she's afraid of that. And that's because she just almost lost him. So it's more, I think it's more about a combination of a lot of different feelings that she's having. Also seeing how she was born, which I was surprised to see that freaking Marlene was there the whole time. And she knew the entire time that this bitch was her mom. And then she's going to...
I don't think Marlene knew that she was going to be immune.
I don't think she knew that she was going to be immune, but she knew that she was her daughter. Why was her daughter with Fedra? Her friend's daughter.
Why? Because I don't think...
She said she put her in there to make sure she had a good life. Like that was the reason why she said. That's why when Riley asked Marlene for Ellie, Marlene was like no, because Marlene made the point I put her in and I got her into the school so that she can kind of do the thing. Because I'm sure Marlene wasn't a leader of the Fireflies yet. Like she was
something.
She was something, but I don't think she was like the full-on leader of Boston. Like I think she was doing something, and then eventually got to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say for not knowing the ending, right? No, I think am I the only one who didn't know what was going to happen? Real quick, Best Law, did you know?
We all knew. We kept teasing you about it.
I know. So So I literally just watched this shit before tonight's show because I didn't have HBO wasn't working for me yesterday, and I didn't watch it on Sunday because I was playing Hogwarts Legacy. But
Which house?
right. Okay. I was blown that Joel just. I'm like, whoa! He killed the cop, the doctor. He killed Marlene. He was like, yo, fuck that. Give my kid back. Like I couldn't believe none of that was happening. I was really blown. Not that I'm mad at what happened. Would I have made the same choice? Do we save one for millions that at a chance of saving millions and ending this?
Makes you do some funky shit, man.
It's crazy. It was crazy. I was not expecting that ending in any way.
Yep.
In the game, because I watched the playthrough of it, but like years ago when it first came out, and then barely it was one of those things I had in the background watching. So like I know the big beats more or less because of spoilers or whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. In that moment, because I think Tone, you said it in like one of our last times we talked about it. That's a choice that's made. Like
because they put you can aim the reticle when you're in the lab, when you're in the operating room. Like it's not a cutscene.
Yeah.
Like it's not a cutscene. You are in full control of Joel. I didn't wait. I was fully prepared to shoot everybody in that room.
Really?
I shot everybody in that room. Yeah. I shot everybody. I shot the nurses. I shot everybody. No one lived.
Well, actually, when I played it, I used the flamethrower on the doctor.
Yes, the people use the flamethrower.
He has a flamethrower.
You threw the flamethrower on the doctor to burn him alive?
I flamethrowed everybody in that room, and I took Ellie out of this burning OR, and we left. We were out.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, do you have the option to leave people alive or no?
Yeah, you can leave, but you can just grab Ellie and leave if you want to.
Homeboy was like, "I'm not letting you leave with her."
Well,
yeah, okay.
My wife found it very funny. He's like, "You can't do that." And he grabs the scalpel.
Yeah, okay. Shot him.
I honestly thought we were gonna get some more dialogue between like the doctor and because of what happens in season 2. I thought we would have gotten some more with the doctor. Even I also thought we would have gotten a flashback with Abby, and we would have saw Abby there. Instead, we got her voice actress there and stuff. So,
if season 2 follows sort of the story beats of the second game, we'll get more backstory about the doctor. And
we'll
also return to this hospital and see it through the eyes of the doctors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
To Entertainment's point, I totally agree that it doesn't make his decision just. That's the main thing from the show is that like even the game too is like you talk about is like, was Joel right? And you've got people saying Joel was right, and you've got other people saying Joel was wrong. You've got objectively Joel was wrong. And both were wrong because Ellie never gets a choice. Marlene makes the choice for her to sacrifice her. Right. Joel takes the choice away from her for Ellie feeling like that was her job, that was her duty to sacrifice herself for the greater good because she would have said yes.
I didn't like the lie at the end.
You know,
that bothered me
much. Both were wrong, and love makes you do some really funky things. Joel literally said something he has not said to anyone in 20 years when he dropped Baby Girl, and then he starts trying to relate to her. He's like, "I'm not losing this." As irrational as it was, he's not losing this. And then he's holding her, and you see Marlene. He's like, "I've been in this situation before. I have a gun now." So while I'm picking her up, I have a gun in my hand.
Yeah.
So in the game, the choice is more of a gray area because they're not sure if this vaccine will work, and they keep telling you that like she might just die for nothing. So when you're going into that, you're like, okay, well, how about you be sure, and then we'll bring her back. But I just had a big problem with Marlene's logic in the show where it's just like, oh, well, we didn't want to panic her, so we sedated her. But then later when Joel's holding her, it's like, oh, it's what she would have wanted. Wake her up. Ask her. Like, you didn't ask her anything. You just put
she probably would have, though.
Well, we wouldn't know that until we actually heard it from her. But you never have a chance. And also, it's like, it's just medical malpractice.
But you even get that a little bit.
There is no HIPAA. Yeah, exactly.
But
there's none of that.
But you even get a little bit from Ellie when she's asking Joel, "Did everything happen? Like, was that the truth?" When he lies to her, and it's like yeah, you're right. You took that choice away from her, which
Yeah.
she had chose to do, which she had not, and it's like
I think Ellie knows that he lied though.
yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
That's
Oh
what
yeah.
season two
I
will be
mean, he
about.
made up so much. I mean, there's so much in the lie. Like you gotta lie about like one thing. You don't just say there's more of you.
Oh yeah, there's got a bunch of them,
There's
right?
there's a
Right.
punchy y'all
We
just
don't
running
need you.
around.
You find
And
out
then
it doesn't work.
And then the cure doesn't work. Let's go to town. Let's be father and daughter. Yippee ki yay! Let's fucking do it. I'm like, bro, if you're gonna make a big lie, it's one big lie, not a bunch of little ones that make no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saved us. They were trying to kill you, and that's it. That's what I would have told her. I wouldn't have said shit about a cure. We didn't find who we were looking for. They wasn't there. Fuck this shit. We're done. We tried.
Dum fuck that shit. I'm out.
I also think too, like, she's been through enough shit where, like, we've seen in both the show and the game that she has just been through it. That to tell her, like, or to say that, oh, like she wouldn't have been able, like, I took that decision away from her, don't tell her kind of thing that Marlene did, was so cheap, because it was just like, yes, she's 14. Yes, like, that's a big decision. But this girl's been through shit, and they fucking
Yeah.
crossed the entire country.
Yeah. Age don't
For
mean
the-
nothing when you have experices like that.
Right.
No, yeah,
You got-
absolutely.
And you went the
She killed people.
entire country to try to be like, yo, I'm the cure, or I'm at least immune, so I have a potential to be the cure for things. Like, why wouldn't you?
She actually is infected with the fungus, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what she explained. Like it's in her brain. She actually has the fungus. It just doesn't kill her or doesn't turn
Right.
her.
It does, yeah.
Because she got it. She got such a little bit as she was developing versus like, where you
So I
regularly
don't
get it.
think it. So logically, for me in my head, I don't think she has a cure. What they would have to do is just inject babies with the fungus, so they can become immune to it, or form of it. I mean that's literally all they need to do. If it worked for her, it would work for everybody else. No.
It would have to probably be a controlled focus group, because you have to
I mean,
figure out the amount of
you're not doing a
exposure.
focus group at the end of the
No, but no one knows. No, but the
I
thing,
mean,
but the thing is that
placebo.
no one knows that she got
What about
infected.
Taylor asked me for treatment?
when she
was
a baby.
I'm actually control the payload. So
What?
he's basically saying how ridiculous his lies were.
Yeah,
Ugh.
he's using the 350 thing from South Park.
Oh my
Goddamn.
god!
Oh,
my
okay.
God.
Goddamn
I'm sorry.
cordyceps.
But so to wrap it up with Last of Us, I'll go around the table. How did we all feel about this whole series? And Tony, we will start with you, then Val, Tone, and Law. And we'll cap from there.
I think it's a good experiment in the strengths and weaknesses of adapting a video game, and I think it's a double-edged sword when you're trying to make a one-for-one recreation, because it robs the adapted medium's form of its own identity. You sort of look at like the Christopher Nolan Batman is a very great cinematic Batman, but not a very good comic book. So I like the moments, like the Bill episode, the Sam and Henry episode. That's when the show really separates itself from the video game, and I think because of that, the show has its own identity and has two of the strongest episodes of the entire series because of it. But overall, I thought I was pretty entertained with it. I'm very interested to see how season 2 is, because without getting into anything, there's a lot more Ellie. She's more of the center focus, and it's a revenge plot. So I'm curious to see how they take the second game and adapt it.
Is she much older?
Yes, she's older. Yeah, we flash forward. She's like
Adult age or no?
she's like she's got to be like 18, 19. Yeah, she's
Okay.
much older. She's got actually they teased for when they were in Jackson, there was a girl looking at her, and she's like, "What are you looking at?" And the little girl ran away. Like that's supposed to be her girlfriend in Jackson that they have a relationship with. That's in the second game.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then the doctor that Joel killed has a daughter. She grows up and she's not exactly happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
without getting into it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Okay. I mean, I think that this show being a noob into the actual video game, obviously I didn't go very far into it because I'm a chicken shit person, but at least when it comes to zombies, not anything else. With that said, I think this show was very good. It was very good storytelling. I loved every single episode. There are some stronger ones over others. I am now a forever Pedro fan. I mean, he really captured this character in a different way. I think Ellie and Joel were a great team in this entire series, and I like that they didn't make it all about the zombies, and that's what I'm a fan of. Honestly, I know people like the zombie stuff. I don't care for it. This was not a zombie show, so that's one of the things that I liked about it. More for me, anyway.
I think that's the DNA of The Last of Us, the video game. There are zombies in it, but it really is more about the human relationships.
Yeah, I loved it though. I thought it was great. Short but great.
Yeah,
Tone.
not me.
Like I said before, like I said earlier, this just sets the bar, man. I mean, I was really happy with it. I knew what we were gonna get. I knew that since we knew the first season was the first game, I knew the major points. I knew we were gonna get the ending that we were gonna get, and I think they did that because they didn't know if they were. I know we talked about how we wanted it to be expanded, maybe making it longer, but this is one of those things where HBO, because HBO is already on its own funky wonkiness. Them breaking this up into a second season, the first game into 2 seasons, there's a risk of us not finishing the story. And they weighed the pros and cons of, do we break it up into 2 seasons hoping to get renewed, or just do 9 episodes and go for it? And I'm happy they went with this to prove that it's possible to do it, and people loved it. And now we can expand in part 2 and see how far we get. But maybe other studios, Amazon or HBO or whoever, will look for other video game adaptations and do them correctly.
With the actual creators involved.
Yeah,
like really involved.
Yeah,
not just the
depending on the game. Like, I like to rag on Halo and all this stuff. I do, right? But like, I'm not expecting this type of shit from Halo. Like, I'm not.
Halo was good.
It was good. I was entertained by Halo. It got a little weird at the end, but I mean, if you ever watch The Expanse, I was like, oh, they're like making it like The Expanse. It's very much in line with that. But I have hopes for Halo. They'll figure out Halo.
Hugo, how old are the kids? Because if they're into that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
they're into it. If they're into, if they're cool with watching the
killings
and everything, then
murder.
Yeah, episode 8 would be very intense.
Like, I know 9 and 11, bro, you're bugging.
Well, it depends. So it depends, right? Because I know
not everyone's 9 and 11-year-olds are the same.
Back in the day when I was growing up, I was able to watch stuff unless it had tits in it. Then I couldn't watch it. Like, I was free to watch like every violent monster movie. I was watching Aliens and Predator pretty much like when at Bear's age. But the minute some boob showed up, I couldn't watch it. So like. And I turned out fine.
True. Yeah. I mean, it was cover your eyes.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'd rather just watch the monster movies.
They're like, cover your eyes, but I still hear the sounds.
But yeah,
to Pong's point, couldn't tell you because I don't know that it could be done. I feel like there's too much.
Listen, if we're gonna do video game adaptations, give me fucking Legacy of Kain, man. If I could get a Legacy of Kain adaptation, I would die.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie.
That would be so much fun. I feel like
that would be so much fun.
They did Cuphead. They could do Banjo-Kazooie.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
If they could do Sonic, they could definitely do Banjo.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to playing like the rest of the game. I'm looking forward to playing the DLC and everything else. I'm glad that I waited this long to play it. Because I think when I first started playing, I explained before, like I didn't have the time and the focus, like to really give it its like due diligence and like proper attention. And I think now, like having watched the show in tandem with it, I have a better appreciation for both of them separately, but together as like one cohesive story. I love it, and I'm a huge fan of it. So I'm looking forward to playing the DLC in the next iteration, and looking forward to season 2. See,
My
best?
final thoughts, I just liked it. It was good. It was great. It was awesome. I can't wait for season 2. There we go. You all hit the points. I mean, what am I gonna say? Like, I fucking hated it. It was no, it was good. It was a really good show. And we make the joke, give Pedro a kid, he will hold your franchise. I mean, I saw a meme the other day
Yo,
that
that's
they
all you
did a
need.
bodybuilder holding up 2 weights. One weight was said HBO, the other weight said Disney Plus, and then someone put Pedro's face on the bodybuilder. So
Not
it's
even
like,
Disney Plus. It is Star Wars.
Yeah.
It is Star Wars. Pedro Pascal is holding Star Wars on his
back.
fucking back. All
I
right?
love him. I love
He
him
just-
so
He
much.
needs to just they don't kill him. They just need to have him do his thing for Mandalorian. Then we need to speed past the sequel trilogy, and then we find out what Din's doing afterwards. And that's what we do.
Work him into the Marvels. He's protecting somebody in the Marvels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's just
That's it.
just put him in every universe. I just want to see him everywhere. I love him.
I mean, we Marvel has the multiverse, so I wouldn't be surprised if if Din just crosses over. There you go.
No.
It's like all of a sudden Mando and you
Not
and
as
Grogu are part of the
Mandalorian, a new
MCU.
actor, a new character. Give me a new character. I'm sure he can do it.
They're in the MCU.
You did say
hunting
Forge,
Wolverine.
and I'm kind of here for it.
I think he would make an awesome Forge.
I'm
He can
kind
do
of here
it.
for it. The more I think about it, I'm like, yeah,
Right? It fits him. It fits
it
him.
does. It does. It does. I'm here for it.
So, Tony, we want to thank you again, guys. For those who
Yes.
don't know, Tony is on Indiegogo right now promoting Star Noir. The link is in the description. For those who missed the Kickstarter, so we covered it a while back. Tony had a Kickstarter out for Star Noir, which hit its goal and everything. It is now back on Indiegogo, so make sure you check out the link in the description. The first 9 pages, I believe you said, is up for people to read.
Yeah, and it ends on April 1st, which is not a joke. It really.
Oh.
So don't be an April Fool and make sure you support the Indiegogo.
Yeah. And
Good
then,
luck.
after that, it's like you'll have to wait for the second Kickstarter for book 2 in the fall. So if you want to read the first book this year and not have to wait until you get fulfilled for the second book, like jump in on the Indiegogo.
Cool.
Awesome.
Plus, in the description, I put the link. So if you guys want to find out and learn more about Star Noir, Tony was on the show before promoting the Kickstarter where he talked about Star Noir. So the link is in the description, guys. And we are back next Tuesday next week. I don't know what we're talking about, but we'll be talking about something.
Yeah, Law is
probably Mando.
be here. I
Hoping to see
might
Dungeons
just
and
be in a
Dragons on
different
Sunday.
time zone.
Shazam comes out this weekend also. Doesn't
Are
it?
we doing Shazam?
I don't
thought
know.
we were doing. I thought
Actually,
we were doing Mando.
we'll talk about Lu
Mando.
Cyph. We'll talk about Lu Cyph's concert in Mando,
That's what we're gonna do.
and then we'll plan out for Shazam and Dungeons and Dragons.
D&D.
Yeah, no. So,
Maybe.
Seabass, I gotta hit you up because we may want to have you guys come with us for the Sunday show. So we'll hit you up.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't know, now you know. Ted Lasso season 3 premiered.
I know. I saw the trailer yesterday.
You
I
are
was
very excited for this.
First of all,
So,
I
dude,
don't understand
Ted-
how good Ted Lasso
you're
is such a good
going
show.
to London. Download that shit.
You have to watch it.
It's so
Seriously,
good.
it's such a good show. It's such a
good.
feel good
I'm
show.
Listen,
I
I'm
know.
not saying that
I
it's
know.
not.
You
I
don't
saw
like
the.
following the
I
hype.
don't know. I saw the entire Darts monologue. That was Chef's Kiss. I just haven't. I haven't had time to get into another show.
On your
You're in a
flight.
5-hour flight.
Yep, there you go. You can
5-hour
watch
flight,
the whole
man.
2 seasons.
Something else on my 5-hour flight, sir.
Something
No,
else. that
but
you haven't
Ted
caught up
Lasso's
on?
better.
Well, you can make it Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso's so good. It's such a feel good
Without me
show. You don't
bullied
understand.
on live air.
It's
Just
like,
do it.
It's like eating your favorite sugary cereal. It's
Dude,
just
it's so
just-
good.
you feel great afterwards.
It's so
Yes.
good.
Yes,
good.
exactly. Tony and Tone know. Tony and Tone know. It's so
Tony
good.
Wolf, man, it's
I will,
good.
I will put it in my rotation. I'm not gonna binge it. I promise you I won't binge, but I will
You
put it
should.
in my rotation.
But you should. I'm telling you.
We'll see how
Once
it
you start
goes.
it, you're gonna binge it.
You guys know that I binge everything more than likely anyway.
Once you
But
start it, you're
and
gonna
they're
binge
30
it.
minutes.
wait, there's only 10 episodes?
No,
Yep.
it's 10 episodes a season, and they're 30 minutes. You can get
Yeah.
through most of it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fantastic.
All right.
I'm not recommending a
good.
20 episode season show. Okay, you know that from me.
Yes, this is fair. All right, we gotta wrap this up because we gotta start going. It's already at that
That's
hour.
why I'm
We're-
gonna
it's
watch it
almost
tonight.
11.
Hugo's coming in hot. You got a return flight. That's 10 hours of content, my man.
Wow, you go, sir. I need you to not come from my neck like that, sir.
Yeah. This also means you too, Seabass. You need to watch Ted Lasso.
It's very good. It's
Jesse will
so
love
It's
it.
Ted
good.
Lasso.
Look,
I'll probably watch that before seeing it.
so good.
Appreciate
Tone
you. Go.
has
Good
not been
night.
helping with the Team Wolf.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This has been your boy Sebastian.
Being boy law.
Your boy Tone from across the hall.
And of course, last but not least, Vmac. Have a great night, guys.
You guys
Take it
have a
easy.
beautiful night. Beautiful
Peace.
B music in
Somebody,
3,
thank you for being here.
2.
Bye.
Also, who will be there is the one, the only, George, the Dreamer Medina, in the flesh. Man, I hope.